Francisco, how do you look at the future trajectory of South-South cooperation in view of this, mutating international development landscape?
Thank you. First, I have to say it's a pleasure to be here in the South-South Cooperation Conference in Delhi. India has been one of the leaders in the discourse and the creation of the narrative of South-South cooperation, and also for the actions on the field. Well, you see, countries of the South do need more space for their own activities and their own role as a partner in cooperation for development. And this is what South-South cooperation is about. Countries, when they get to the position of providing cooperation, when they reach the developed experiences that can be shared with other countries, do basically have two options. One is to follow the path of the developed countries and the traditional development approach, and the other one is to create a different path. And what this is South-South cooperation is a different path that developing countries have created to provide cooperation in different terms. Those terms are much more important now that we have the approval of the 23rd Development Agenda last year with all developing countries. It presents different and much broader challenge of development that we had before. For example, providing sustainable growth was not a specific development target before. Now it is. Development growth involves economics, investment, and a totally new elements of the development that are not any that requires a new approach. South-South cooperation is for sure one of the alternatives for supporting that particular goal.
Coming to another question, which is that there's a widespread, there's a broad assessment that despite the burgeoning South-South cooperation, there's really no substitute for North-South cooperation. And now we're also talking in terms of greater less world. We're talking of one world, moving beyond the so-called North-South divide. What is your take on that?
Okay. I'd like to quote your Vice Minister today, because it was a wonderful speech. It's not that the North-South divide doesn't exist or being blurred with the new approaches, but the fact is that the commitments for promoting development as a development partner are different. So one is based on historical colonialism, and the other one is based on voluntary contribution, based on your equal terms in partnership with non-conditionalities. So those are very different approaches, and I think it's very well defined by Indian foreign policy.
So, looking ahead, what are 2 or 3 things you would recommend to rejuvenate, to add greater content to South-South cooperation?
Okay. Looking ahead, for sure there is a role for more impact of South-South cooperation on economic growth and providing partnerships for sustained economic growth in general. This is not a short-term goal. This is not a short-term activity. This is a long-term engagement between countries and the several layers in which this can be permeated. In addition, so when you see the 2030 Development Agenda, those are long-term goals. Those elements are. It's not going to be a short-term engagement. The second is what's the role of investment in infrastructure in particular, and that contribution of those long-term investment and the new institutions that are being created, such as the new bank, the development bank, are going to have into supporting that particular strategy. Those new institutions will have a new role in the development community, and for sure it's going to be part of the future.